And welcome to our weekly modern tournament here at Grey Ogre Games. It's more than modern. My name is Mick. I'm one of your hosts alongside the suit, Mr. James Church Morley.
Yeah, back in the booth.
Yeah?
Under the weather. We're all under the weather.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
expression
we've all
doesn't
got
make
it.
sense, right? We're all under the weather all the time. Unless you live in the sky.
I don't know.
Well, I guess define
Might
weather, but it's different. That's not for now. That's for the weather podcast, the weather show that we do.
That'll be on at around 10 p.m. later tonight.
Or is that more of a philosophical question? Like, what is weather?
What is the weather?
Like, we're
Whether
going to
the
answer
weather
questions
is
like, is water wet?
water is wet.
No, but isn't wet the feeling, the sensation of water on you? This is
That's the thing.
But
like,
then
there's an
does
interface.
water is wetness only for animate objects? Water inanimate, does it understand wetness?
I don't know.
It's
But
interesting.
there's the interface between the water,
I understand that,
water
right?
and the air.
Yeah, of course.
I remember watching a match between Conrad Dungan and Alejandro Reinaga Rodriguez.
You get that
Very
name one.
funny,
You
yeah.
get that name one time, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's the only time I'm gonna go.
ARR. That's what you get. ARR. You know.
Conrad, I think. Well, he usually plays like Legacy.
Does he?
Yeah, he usually plays Legacy, and he plays the Eldrazi, the
12
shop-
post. No.
Yeah, 12 post Eldrazi, and but I don't know why he plays for Modern.
Don't know. Probably Eldrazi. Yeah, it's Fatal Push in hand. Looks like it's black green.
Oh yeah, nice. Just like a straight up rock deck, right?
And for all of you Legacy aficionados out here, you can play Legacy at Grey Games on a Monday at 8 p.m. Is that right? And then they're starting to have Legacy events.
That Sunday, the monthly Legacy
tournament.
weekend,
How many people?
Eternal Sundays.
Is that what it's called? Eternal Sundays.
I think so. Eternal Sunday is like, harken back to every day is a Sunday. Not every day is a Sunday. So it's eternally Sunday. So
Eternal Sunday. I got it.
Yeah.
It's and there was our shilling for the round. No, just kidding. There'll be
Yeah,
plenty more.
we don't use this platform to sell cards, not unless we have. But whenever we tell people to buy and sell cards, that's usually our opinion, right? Like it's a good price to buy.
There's
it's
like a
shit
thing. It's
stuff.
like probably like the views of Great Games not represented by us. Like we're independent. Like
we
we
are independent.
Yeah, all our opinions are our own. Anyway,
there are some opinions that are quite strong.
yeah.
So
Alejandro's playing. This is a deck that I know exists in Modern,
mhm.
but I've never seen before on stream. And I don't know how
Oh.
popular it is in Singapore, but this is like the Bridgevine. deck.
Bridgevine 8 whack. Bridgevine sort of like 8 whack.
Yeah, it's got Goblin. It's got Bushwhacker, right?
Yeah. So what it's trying to do is basically to mill as many cards as it can into the graveyard, and then play a whole bunch of 1 mana stuff, including neonates, goblin bushwhackers, the Stitcher suppliers that you see there, and then when you cast your second creature, you reanimate what's it called? The Dredgevine,
Dredgevine, yep.
and then you just go at it.
Yeah, has Bridge from Below as well. The enchantment.
Oh,
that
yes,
I
yes,
don't
yes.
understand how it works or what it does, but I know that if the creature goes to graveyard,
You get tokens. That's it.
tokens.
Yeah, if it's as long as it's in the graveyard, and then your opponent has to basically sacrifice one of his own creatures for it to disappear.
There it is, Bridge from Below
Okay.
into the graveyard, gets a zombie because when Bridge from Below is in the graveyard,
Let's bring up Bridge from
I'm not
Below.
even going to pretend.
Yeah.
I know that it costs black, but I don't. Yeah, this is like a weird card.
Yeah.
Like, why you make this card? Like, why?
So-
why?
So when it's on the battlefield, whenever a non-token creature is put into your graveyard from a battlefield, oh no, it's not in the battlefield. If Bridge from Below is in your graveyard, you put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. So you cast it, it has no effect at all, 0 effect. And then whenever a creature is put into an opponent's graveyard from a battlefield,
Yeah.
then you exile Bridge from Below.
Why would you make an enchantment that has no effect?
Because
You can.
Yeah, exactly. This is from Future Sight.
Future Sight, right?
Like
It's so Future Sight that we still haven't seen it in a standard set yet.
No, we're never gonna
We
see.
never
it as
will.
Yeah, this is one of those things. Yeah,
It's a weird one.
and it is. Look at the art. That has to be Innistrad, right? That has to be like a chaplain type person, with the
Possibly
yeah
with the zombie. Yeah.
yeah.
But Comrade has what is quite a good card, I think, in this matchup, right? Scavenging Ooze.
Scavenging Ooze will be able to get rid of the Bridge from Below, but and also just generally other creatures.
Yeah, and he can pick off creatures, right? Because we see Alejandro has played a Gravecrawler, which 2/1 black, but it can come back, so you kill it, and then if you have a zombie, you can cast it from your graveyard. And with Bridge Below making zombies, it's easy, right? Sacrifice it, make a zombie, blah blah blah.
I'm surprised we don't see the what's his name? What's that 1 mana? The scry dude. Viscerous, yeah. Or maybe a little bit unlucky there, not being able to get a Viscerous,
Yeah, as a Bloodgust for all of the synergies. Some of these decks ran so this deck came up at the 25th anniversary Pro Tour, which was the Team Pro Tour, and this was like a deck that a lot of the modern, or some of the modern players were on, and just had really explosive starts.
Oh yeah.
They some of them played Greater Gargadon, the suspend 10, and then they would just sacrifice all their creatures, get zombies, sacrifice all their zombies, be like, surprise.
And then hey, I got a Greater
9/7. Like how's that lightning bolt looking, bro? Looking good, is it? Fatal push.
Your fatal push?
Yeah, it's looking good, is it?
Nice fatal push.
Yeah.
And then if nothing happens, like all they have to do is just like not do anything, right? And then suddenly you got a Greater Gargadon like 9 turns later.
Yep. Yeah, the old natural Greater Gargadon.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you can see in the graveyard, he's also playing stuff like Walking Ballista and Hangerback Walker, so that you can get back your Vengevine like really
so
easily.
Strange, isn't it? Like I see
crazy, right?
What's the Walking Ballista in there for? I just cast it for 0. You just literally want it to go to the graveyard.
You get tokens. So number one, you get tokens from the
Bridge
Walking Ballista dying.
Yeah.
From Bridge from Below. And then after you also cast the creature, and then you just do it a few times, and then suddenly a Vengevine comes back.
Yeah. Now we haven't seen Alejandro put a Vengevine into his graveyard yet.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, he's got some of the other creatures. We see a couple of instant units which he's played: Stitcher Supplier, milled some Goblin Bushwhackers. But his board's looking pretty. It's looking, he's gonna have to lose something if he wants to attack.
Yeah, no, I think
you just do it, right?
You should be doing it. There's no reason why you should stop, right? And then if he tries to get rid of any of the non-token creatures, go in, everyone, just go in, everyone. But there's no reason why you shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's one point of damage that he's leaving on. Oh, that feels so bad.
It feels awful, doesn't it?
Yeah, you get rid of one guy, and then suddenly
and then it comes back.
Guy comes. Yeah, and then you're gonna get it back. Bridge from Below is gone by the.
Yeah, it is gone, and Conrad's gonna use his mana to exile the Gravecrawler. So a way to stymie the bleeding. Stymie the bleeding. Has another Gravecrawler. For all the Robins.
Yeah. Conrad is going to be able to gain quite a lot of life because he's got a lot of green sources.
Yep.
But, you're still taking quite a bit of damage each turn. And I did not like that Alejandro there. Like, he didn't attack. Like, you got to get in as much points of damage.
Push in, right?
So had he attacked with... Oh, no. It wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah. So we're going to see a Tarmogoyf here for Conrad.
Alright. Goyf is big.
And we're going to see Scavenging Ooze exiling a Walking Ballista.
Yeah, gain some life, get rid of a few things, and at this point, I think Conrad is like heavily favored. Alejandro didn't have the crazy start that usually this deck is associated with, right? Because you turn 1, you got Bridge from Below into the graveyard, you got like some dredge creature in the graveyard. You dredge, put Vengevine into the graveyard, and like just go off. Suddenly in turn 2 you got like 10 power on the board.
Yeah, and we saw Alejandro, if he has a third land, he has a Fatal Push and not Fatal Push, a Desperate Faithless Looting in the graveyard, which he milled on the first turn from his Stitcher Supplier. That third land allows him to do a little bit more digging, maybe hits a Vengevine, maybe hits like another Bridge from Below, and then all of a sudden those creatures come into the graveyard. coming to red zone, dying, look pretty good. Make more zombies. Just another Neonet though. It's this is the problem with these decks, right? Sometimes they just don't
like
do that
fizzle,
much. Yeah, they just draw all of the grave crawlers and the Stitcher suppliers and none of the Vengevines and the bridge from belows, and you just go, oh, that sucks. And then sometimes they draw the other side and they draw like the nuts and they're like turn 12 power. They're like, oh, we're playing some Magic now, are we? It's like nice tap land. Yeah,
turn
nice
one,
raging ravine, bro. Yeah.
Turn 1, I'm dealing with like 10 points of damage. It's like, yeah, good luck with that.
So this is it's like a high variance deck, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like you've got to play. It doesn't have, when it goes off, there's not a lot of things that can stop it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's the reason why you play these type of decks. Like, it is at the end of the day a combo deck. Just very, just not the way you normally see like a combo deck like Storm or Ad Nauseam or something like that. But this just deals insane amounts of damage.
Yeah, if you're not doing crazy stuff in Modern, like what are you doing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And they play like, these green-white decks that are like playing creatures.
You gotta play unfair.
You wanna play like Night of Autumn? Like, oh please, please charge. No. We're doing. So I was speaking to a friend of the cast, Brian Lim, who we saw on camera last week, lose in magnanimous fashion with his burn deck. I think we talked about how when he was ahead twice, but we saw him talk about surgical extraction in his sideboard, and I said, oh, he's got surgical extraction. He said that part of the reason for surgical extraction is that it can deal with the turn 1 plays from these sorts of decks.
Yeah,
where Rest in Peace is just too slow.
If you have to, how is Rest in Peace too slow?
What world we live in? What a world we live in!
Exactly.
Could be dead by turn 2.
Yeah. So it's crazy to see how like the meta game is currently, right? Like, we've never seen these cards existed. We've seen like Vengevine decks exist. It's just that it goes round and round, and suddenly like a deck is good and a deck is bad, and then after that it becomes bad because something else is better.
Or you get one card, right?
Oh, so finally.
Viscerous here.
Finally gets a Viscerous here. A little bit too late.
And speaking of things like that, you see one card that changed everything. So Dredge has had a renaissance in Modern because of Creeping Chill.
Yeah.
The card from Ravenous, the one when it goes into the graveyard.
So dumb.
Drain 3. All of a sudden, these Dredge decks are just like...
It's like, I'm going to Lightning Helix you for free.
Yeah, as part of my game plan. Like, it's not even like...
Not even going to play Nakamiba anymore. Right? Like, screw Nakamiba.
Too slow.
Yeah,
I can't play Dread Return. Why am I playing Nakamiba? It's so outdated. I just need to be like
outdated.
What's the leg? Like Nakamiba's Dread Return, Fire Main Angel. Is that the one that you play that gives everything haste? Isn't that what they do? Yeah, it was like not playing any red or white lands, just getting in there.
Alright. Oh man, he doesn't attack with the. Oh, I think he just cast Insolent in it. Alright.
Yep.
So,
well, no, Faith is looting them Viscerous here, so...
Alright, so this goes in the graveyard. I think... so Alejandro here just trying to play around the... what you call it? Scavenging Ooze, right? He's gonna sack that, scry 1, put it on the bottom. His other zombie probably gonna sack that, scry 1.
On the bottom.
Yeah.
He must be looking for a very specific set of cards now, right?
Man, I really wonder what is it that he's trying to do. Okay, so gonna take away the Bloodghast.
Don't like that.
This is... Well, it doesn't have any more mana. That's the problem. Like, it doesn't have any more mana to cast stuff, right? And so he's going to go off with Insolent Neonate.
There we go. Bridge from below in the graveyard.
Gets a token. Draws a card. And he can start sacrificing creatures. Yeah, there we go. I think that should have been the first thing that you sacrifice.
Well, I think he just wanted the... Yeah. And but he wanted the... He needed to sacrifice the Neonate to discard the Bridge from below to get the zombies. Right, Scry. Doesn't like the look of it.
Oh, no. He's supposed to mill first. Dude, you're supposed to mill first and then scry.
Okay, Greater Gargadon, Hangerback Walker.
Gotta have a little chat with Alejandro.
But it seems like Alejandro is sort of spinning his wheels a bit. He's doing some stuff, but it's not really impacting the board.
Yeah. Too slow. You're
Yeah,
past,
you should have killed Comrade by now.
you're way past what you should have been.
When Comrade can untap with like 4 green sources, it's just like you're gonna have an awful time.
Bad. Yeah, look at that. Like, he doesn't even care. I'm gonna just swing you with my whole board. Oh.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think this game was over like about 5 turns ago.
yeah, and Alandra's like, yeah, you got me.
Mm. Cool.
You've got me. So yes, first time on camera as far as I'm aware. We've had this
Alejandro?
Vengefide. No, the
Oh,
Vengefide
the
deck.
Vengefide
Yeah,
deck?
first time I've seen it on camera.
Okay. Maybe I think so.
It's not.
I know I've seen it in action before. It's
Yeah,
like,
I've seen it in
it's
action, but
crazy.
here,
Here
Wednesday
at
nights,
Gregor
Gregor
Games,
Games, haven't seen it.
Maybe.
You know, it's a bit. A lot of people play their pet decks. They keep them for a long
for
period of
sure.
time.
Yeah, like myself. Like, I only keep.
Yeah, the less we talk about the Esper Spirits deck, the
Esper
better.
Spirits, yeah, Esper Spirits.
Still banging that drum, aren't you? You know.
Man, I would love to see in modern like a surveil deck, right? Because I think the enhanced surveillance,
Oh yeah.
that is a
Whenever you
bonkers card.
Surveil +2.
Surveil +2, dude. Like, that of all things, that's a bonkers card, right?
You think-
Because you get to put cards in your graveyard.
I think the Dredge deck just plays these cards that are just like Surveil, but Surveil really means just put them into my graveyard.
them
It
in
just
my
means
graveyard,
mill,
that's
right?
like,
Doesn't mean anything else. It just
Dredge,
means mill.
yeah.
That's what it means.
Mill 4, that's great. And I think like it's a really powerful mechanic, and when you can, you know, there's very few cards in Magic that tell you to add a numerical value that's more than 1, right? Like what's that? That green creature from Battle Bond.
Oh yeah.
Like, you get to put like 1 counter, 1 additional counter, right? Hardened Scales, you put an additional counter. You only put 1. I think the only exception would be like Doubling Season,
Parallel Lives.
Parallel Lives, and what's that?
Anointed Procession.
Yeah, but I mean like all those that like double, you know, the stuff that you get. That's a big effect. But there aren't a lot that, you know, you add X amount of damage. I think Pyromancer, is it Pyromancer's Gloves? Is it
What's
Pyromancer?
that?
The one that all your burn spells, all your
Flame of Keld.
No.
Chapter
Flame
3,
of Kel, yeah.
Chapter 3.
So Chapter 3, Flame of Kel, right? That is an artifact that gives all your red
yeah, the enchantments. All your red
instant
sources.
sorceries
No,
and
red
Chandra Planeswalkers +2 damage.
Flame of Keld.
No, not Flame of
oh,
Kel.
no,
There's an
Pyromancer's
artifact, yeah.
Gloves, okay.
I think Pyromancer's
Is that in
Gloves,
like a starter deck or something?
No. It's a card that I think I've been trying to
It's not
find.
the goggles, right?
It's not the
No,
goggles.
not the
Goggles
goggles.
doubles
the spell.
the spell.
Yeah.
You know, this one like just adds 2 damage. And these type of effects, you know, are very rare, but they're very powerful.
I feel like in like alpha, there's probably loads of cards that do stuff like this, or like
+2?
-1 damage or something like that.
Yeah, they -1 damage or like reduce it to like 1 damage.
Yeah,
And stuff
but
like that,
and it's just like it just doesn't. It's just super hard to understand. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of counting, and then there's like additional counting, and it's just 2 ways in which you can get it wrong.
yeah.
There are these strange, It's,
But it's such a powerful effect, and I'm waiting for like that one guy to come out. Like, yeah, I'm gonna play like two enhanced surveillance, and then just like use that to.
but what surveil cards are good enough, right? That's the question.
Yeah, that is quite an issue.
Because what are you playing? You're not playing Deadly Visit or Price of Fame.
Notion Rain, Notion Rain.
No, it's just like a less good.
Discovery Dispersal, but that's not enough surveil cards. I wish there would be more.
I
and
don't
that,
think there is. I think Surveil's like too good.
Yeah,
I think
it
Surveil's
feels like a little.
It's
bit
so
broken.
much better. You know, sidebar as we wait for Alejandro to. It feels like I've been playing some stuff on Arena. I haven't played a real draft yet, but I played some. Surveil's is like the best mechanic by far.
Yeah,
It's just like
card
oh,
selection.
like you wanna like undergrowth. Oh, cool, right? Oh, I'm just gonna like scry on all of my cards. And my cards are better than your cards anyway. Like it's just silly.
Oh man, I think out of the 3 or 4 drafts that I played, right?
Demir
Demir just crushed me, And then when I played the mill, I like just crushed everyone. It's so broken. It feels so good to just know exactly what you're going to be.
I've seen a lot of stuff about disinformation campaign.
Oh, that card's gross.
It's like
that card's dumb. It's so fun.
It's just like, why would you make this? Why do you think this is a good idea?
I love that you can start off with like that turn 2 fairy.
Yeah, surveil one every turn.
And then surveil one, and then you maybe you with have like the bug.
Yes, but you're just you're like, come on, people.
And disinformation.
And even the Dark Blade agent, right? Whenever you surveil Death Touch.
Yep.
Death Touch.
And draw
on
a card.
2/3.
And draw a card.
Yeah, and draw a card. Like, come on.
Like,
With the I know. It seems very powerful because it's like Scry basically.
But better.
Because contextually in the set, some things care about the graveyard, and they happen to be black and green, and like Dimir has a black crossover.
No, and even in like, I think even in Constructed, we talk about cards like Mission Briefing, right? And then, we're trying to compare it to stuff like Snap Custom Mage. Mission Briefing actually draws you 2 extra cards, right? You surveil 2 first. And then, you can dump a spell into the graveyard, which essentially you drew that card, and then you get to cast that card.
So it's right. It's so similar to Scry.
Yeah.
That you question why didn't they give it to every color, because Scry is in every color pretty much. Like even white gets Scry. If I go back to Theros, it had like
you got like the Benalia, new Benalia or something like that. No, even before.
They had Scry before.
Yeah,
Theros.
Scry.
It was
like land enters the battlefield, Scry 1 or Scry 2 or something like that. New Benalia.
Oh yeah.
Like that card.
And and obviously in Theros, but even they even had the one that gives an indestructible Scry 1 for white. I can't remember what that was called.
They gave everything Scry.
Yeah, because it's something that should be shared between the colors as opposed to being in blue and black, which already has the most card selection and card draw.
Yeah, because like white and green don't have card draw.
Bit of a miss.
Oh wow, is that a surgical extraction?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, Alejandro gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, this feels bad.
You just fire that off, don't you? Just fire it off.
It didn't even wait. It's like, I'm gonna take out one of the threats in your deck.
Comrade subscribing to the Brian Lim school of thought that you should just play your surgical extractions
turn 1
for down, just get rid of it.
Oh, I love playing surgical extractions on like 2 color decks and then take away the fetch land.
Right, just an awful person.
Yeah, love it. Like you're taking away 4 cards. Like 2 color decks are the ones that run basically like 4 of that 2 color fetch land, and then like poof. You're not drawing more. You're not drawing
people
more
like
lands.
People like you make Magic less fun.
Love it so much. Especially if you start off with like a Thoughtseize, right? And then you discover your opponent's got like 2 lands, and then like 2 spells, 3 spells that they can cast, and you're like, poof, gone. You're not drawing lands anymore, sir.
It's hard. Yeah, Alejandro, real disadvantage. Mulligan down to 6. Bloodghast gone. Bloodghast like an incidental part of the deck.
Yeah.
Right. It's good synergy, but it's not like a crucial. You don't want to be casting a Bloodghast to trigger a Vengevine, for example.
Yeah. I can't imagine if that were like it was a Vengevine in the graveyard, and then you snap out all the Vengevines, then Alejandro is in a lot of poo.
Yeah.
He's in very deep poo.
And that's the thing with these. So Conrad, I think, is just playing straight black-green rather than playing Jund or Abzan.
Why wouldn't you play? I know we had this conversation, right? Like,
why wouldn't you play Jund?
Yeah, Jund is so.
How good is Bloodbraid Elf? That's the question, right? That's the only thing you go into Jund for. Lightning Bolt, maybe.
Oh my god, like Bloodbraid Elf is.
But is it?
What do you mean?
But is it? But is it? That's my question to you.
Bloodbraid Elf into anything in that deck.
Is it? But is it?
Bloodbraid Elf into a Tarmogoyf. Not good.
It's good. It's good.
Okay, I'm gonna name like all the other components of the deck.
Yeah, sure. Inquisition of Kozilek. They've got no cards in hand. How do you feel?
Okay, that's pretty bad. Right.
Right there.
Thoughtseize.
Same question, but you lose 2 life.
Okay. So
yeah, no, into the creatures.
How about
It's fine. I can construct some niche cases, right? Like, you're at 1 life and you put a Dark Confidant into play. You better get real lucky. There's some niche cases.
You can choose not to cast it, by the way.
I know you can choose not to cast it, but then why are you playing Bloodbraid Elf if you're not going to cast it?
And then it's a 3/2 hasty.
I just think it's not that.
It's a
good.
3/2 hasty.
When Jace And Bloodbraid Elf were unbanned. We were like, oh, the sky's falling, Chicken Little, Modern's coming to an end. There's all going to be Jaces everywhere and Bloodbraid Elves everywhere. Like, where are you now, Jace? What are you doing? You're sitting in the binder while Teferi steals all of your glory, aren't you? And Jace, Jace, what are you doing? You're propping up tier 2 strategies where people Bloodbraid Elf into a Arbor Elf or a Utopia Sprawl. And they go, oh, I feel so bad because I could have hit a Blood Moon. Like, they're fine.
Thing, like, they're playing, you're playing Bloodbraid Elf in the wrong deck. Like, that is.
No, but I just don't think. I don't think the cost of Jund is the mana base, right? Not the cost of cards, right? But the cost of playing Jund is playing like another 6 fetch lands, playing some Blood Crypts, some Stomping Grounds, playing you're playing like one Raging Ravine maybe, so that's another tap land that comes into play. Yeah. You're playing those cards to have a 3/2 haste, which gives you another spell, which is good like 60% of the time, and Lightning Bolt. Now, is that better than just playing straight black green and just being like a really concentrated, play loads of forests for your Scavenging Oozes, which are looking great, and I know that's recency bias, but they're looking great at the moment. It helps when you've got one on turn 2, and you've got 2 forests, right? You can see Assassin's Trophy.
No, we're going to see 3 forests.
But it just seems at the moment like the condensing down to black green's better.
I don't know. Like, there's enough. So, like, of course, the argument is like there's enough cards, right, to go into either deck. Right?
Yeah,
of
like course.
You don't necessarily have to splash for that red, but like, you get access to stuff like Kolaghan's Command, you get access to Young Pyromancer. Your sideboard becomes Pyromancer is so good against like the control decks. So
I'm gonna say Kolaghan's Command, very good Magic card.
Oh yeah.
So I think that I miss Kolaghan's Command. Okay, I think that when I was going off, Kolaghan's Command is like a really good Magic card, 2 for 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Just that gives you so much incremental value considering the cards you're playing.
Yeah.
But is it good enough? I don't know. People have been moving away from Jund. Jund has like seen a downtick over an extended period of time.
Yeah. Lightning Bolt has like lost its last.
Who cares if you like Lightning Bolt? There's Stitcher Supplier, right?
No, I would love to just have a black green and then splash really splash the red. Like, you don't concentrate on the red, because it gives you like really powerful sideboard options. It gives you
the problem with that, right? While we circle our attention back to the game that Alejandro is looks like he's losing, is that in Modern it's so easy to splash. If you're going to splash, you just do it. You don't have to. It's not like there's no, because it's all fetch lands and shock lands and tap lands and this and the other. Like the cost, is relatively. If you're going to do a 1, you may as well do a 7, right? If you're gonna, if you think about it like that. Yeah. If you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound with the splashing. Because it's just like, why? Like, you either don't bother or you do it properly, and that's so. You
give out some of your basic lands, just
Yeah, I'm interested that Abzan.
I would love
not
to
around,
see
right?
Abzan,
because I think Abzan, the sideboard cards in Abzan are much better.
Yeah,
you get the crazy white stuff.
You get white.
Yeah,
I think white has like the best sideboard, like
undoubtedly
ever in this game.
Like, it's only good in the sideboard, right? Like, you're like, oh, I'm gonna play white. Oh, we'll splash white and we'll play like Rest in Peace and stuff.
I have Leyline of Sanctities and Leyline of the Void.
Yeah, I play all of the Leylines. Leyline of Anticipation. I don't even know what that does. What's the green Leyline?
Leyline of the Meek. They got 2. Leyline of the Meek and what was it? How much do you flash it back for? What's the X? So you got the X, what?
It's double. So the X discard. The flashback only has double red symbol.
Double red and X, because it's supposed to deal X damage. Yeah, you're not paying the casting cost, but the X is the same one. Okay. Right? Yeah. Quick
judge here.
Yeah, because I'm like the only
judge here.
I'm like really the only judge here. There's no Mark, there's no Chin Hao on Wednesdays, which is, well, if I'm not here on Wednesdays, then all hell breaks loose.
I'm surprised that the roof doesn't fall in.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not here, Mick, on a Wednesday.
Nobody knows how to play this game.
I mean, I can confirm that is correct from my experience. I certainly have no idea. I think I was stuck with like a limited ruling the other day. I was like, oh, what's going on? I don't even know. It's so embarrassing. I can't remember what it was now. It was something like silly, right? And I was like, oh, I don't understand. How does mentor work? Oh, no. It looks at the beginning and end. If it changes in between, it doesn't happen anymore. Oh, how do I stack my triggers?
What did this happening?
How do I stack my triggers?
Oh man, Alejandro is so far behind in this game right now.
The true player of black green.
Jeez.
The thing is, as we toil slowly towards the end of this round in what is a slow, grindy beatdown, characteristic of the black green deck, is that it's very fair, right?
It's
very fair. Alejandro is trying to do a fundamentally unfair thing.
Yeah.
He's trying to say, normally in Magic, you can play one land a turn, and you can play one spell, maybe two spells a turn. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a risk, but try and... It's like finance, risk and reward are correlated. I'm going to take a risk, but I'm going to try and play like 5 spells a turn from my graveyard and then kill you. But it might not work. And Conrad is very sensible. He's like investing in low yield bonds. He's going, no, this is I'm looking for an above inflation return with my black green deck, and I'm going to try and eke out the incremental advantage. Alejandro's like, like venture capital. It's so exciting. It might not work, but if it does, it's a home run. That's how I think about these things.
What, Bitcoin versus like bonds, right?
Yeah, well,
like the exact two.
Less about Bitcoin, the better, I think. The amount of discussion I've had about Bitcoin has no value.
Yes.
What is fun? Let's not go there. That's for the Bitcoin show. We got a lot of shows to get to. This
like half of the audience are probably people who are investing in Bitcoin.
Oh, of course, no doubt.
And like
I reckon there's a high correlation between people who play Magic and who think that they're like cryptocurrency experts, right?
Man, and there's the new one, investment. What's that? Initiative Q.
Don't know what that is.
Oh,
Sounds
go look it up.
Is it just as bad?
It's got noble goals without a plan. So it's like selling you a bridge when no bridge exists.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's kind of.
So there was a coin offering called Tron, right? I don't know if you know this.
Was there?
Yeah, well, in theory, right? It's like Chinese. I saw it. I was like, oh, it's called Tron. That's exciting. It's like Magic. I had it was alleged that the Chinese government was going to adopt it as like its official quote unquote coin.
Like,
but it had like its white paper had loads of problems. So it's like the mathematics behind it was all completely either stolen or wrong, or stolen and wrong.
No,
the best combination of things. So. Yeah, I just thought, it's just too much now. Like
we should just go back to barter trade, like
inefficiencies in the market, right?
That's what Bitcoin's supposed to be, right? Like it's sort of like barter trade, like this is worth X amount to me, but then it's worth X amount to somebody else, like, and then I give it to you. But of course, like when we talk about like.
But that's why we have cash, right? As like
that's the thing, like, so you're just trying to convert it into
it's just trying to make it another cash, but then it's like, well, why don't you just use cash instead, which is already widely accepted? You don't have to convince Domino's to accept 0.00001 Bitcoin for a large super Sunday I don't know, whatever people are buying from Domino's nowadays. Meat feast, volcano.
If you wait about a second later, it'll be like 0.05.
Something like that, yeah, right. The swing, the volatility. Like, let's not think about volatility. So Alejandro played a Walking Blister for 2, which is like the
blockchain
peak, not this deck. It's just like anti. It's just like if you're doing that, it's like, is he scooping?
Yeah,
them
it's
up?
like picking up.
I thought he was scooping them up.
No, he's just sacrificing all his dudes. Man, dude, don't let him block. Just Assassin's Trophy it. Oh, okay.
Gonna get the exile value first.
All right. He's gonna make it huge. He's gonna make it like
5.
possibly bigger.
It's a 7/7, so it's now gonna trade with the 9/7 Greater Gargadon.
He should be like exiling even more cards before that goes.
Yep, gonna crack a clue, draw a card. That's exciting. Alejandro committing to the there he goes, committing to the no board game plan.
Man.
Like,
it's like, I still got a chance.
High risk. So modern
chance.
Financial theory suggests that if you take on increased risk, you should be, reward. You should be given increased reward. Right? That's the theory.
Yeah.
Alejandro finding out in this match that perhaps the increased risk doesn't necessarily lead to the increased reward.
There is variance at the end of the day. So
there is, and this deck is like we saw it in the first game, right? I didn't even see where were your vendor runs? Like, are you even playing them? You have to be,
exactly.
Right?
And I think he went through like at least a third of the deck, right?
Scavenging Ooze.
And then suddenly...
His comrade had Scavenging Ooze turn 2 both games. Like, what do you do about that?
Nothing.
Just can control your graveyard. Right,
Yeah.
just go, Scavenging Ooze is now my game plan. I'm committing to Scavenging Ooze. Every turn I'm going to use my 2 mana, green mana I have to just
like eat up stuff in your graveyard.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
and then get a bigger creature. You know, so yeah, a little bit unfortunate there for Alejandro, but
that's life.
Yeah.
That's why you play Modern.
Man, Modern's so fun. All right, we'll be back in a short bit. Oh, I didn't put up the timer.
There's
That's really
13 minutes and 20 seconds left in the round.
Yeah, so we'll be back in about 50 minutes time, so don't go away. Remember, you can join us on the stream every Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Singapore time. This Sunday, though, this whole month, every week, there's been
a big tournament. Big tournament.
Sunday, yeah, and this Sunday is no different. This Sunday we'll have the PPTQ. It's standard format, and standard's kind of fun. Standard is very, very
There
fun.
are some decks being played in standard.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. It's cray.
Is it?
Yeah.
I
You
take
think
your word
we,
for
we
it.
talked about like the Vengevine deck. There's the Arclight Phoenix deck. That one's
I
really
know about
fun.
that one.
That's
I know about that one. Not
that's-
even playing red. Not
that's
even
really
playing
fun
red.
to watch. Chongting, like, you know, we watch Chongting play the monthly this
Good.
past Sunday. He played Chance for Glory.
That's
and
the Boros
just
thing,
wiped.
right?
Yeah, that's the Boros, like
Lose, take another
indestructible,
turn,
and then you
lose,
take
yeah.
another turn, and after that you lose if you don't finish. Like, just wipe his opponent with Chance of Glory. That
Really?
was hilarious to watch. It's like, yeah, I got this. I'm gonna block here. And like, I've got this. We're gonna trade. Next turn, I've got like this bomb to cast. I don't have a next turn anymore. And then like, yeah, it's fun. All right. As well as on YouTube. So you go down to YouTube and watch all the replays of all the events. We upload it there. Last but not least, do visit our website, grillgames.com. If you want to find out more about the invitationals this Sunday, no QP. Was that QP? I don't know.
I couldn't know if there's QP for a Wizards mandated
Maybe,
Wizard
I don't think
organised
so.
tournament. It doesn't seem like there would be.
Yeah, I don't.
You're playing for a chance to go to an RPTQ.
And there's a chance to
And
play
then
for the Pro Tour.
chance for the PT in your region.
No more RPGQs,
No.
but soon. Yeah, if you like what you hear and see, find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch,
We're there.
YouTube.
Weibo.
Yeah, we everywhere. Alright, we'll be back. Don't go away. See you guys.